So first, I'm going to have everybody introduce themselves, your name, your location, your organization, or your business name. So if you have a nonprofit, your nonprofit, if you're looking to start a nonprofit, your organization's name or in your business name. And we're going to start off with our host. And just, you want Miss Jackson, just tell us who you are, your business. So just give us a introduction to who you are.
Okay, my name is Denitra Jackson. I own Nature's Biology. It's a natural beauty line that I have online. It does stuff for hair, body, home, pretty much anything that has to do with your lifestyle, what you're doing every day as far as your skin and body. There's products on there for as far as like washing clothes, everything. There's laundry detergent, baby products, my fave. Baby products on there, everything. And I'm getting ready to launch a food truck. So hopefully in the next 4 weeks, everything will be complete. And that one is called The Smackery. And that one is kind of like, it's a family business. So that's dealing with my boys and me cooking and showing the world what we could do with them pots and pans in the kitchen. So,
and then prior to you opening your online store, you also had a brick and mortar store, correct?
yeah, I had 2 brick and mortar stores. I had one that was a beauty supply store, and then I had a plus size clothing store as well. And I transitioned from the beauty supply to the online store once I started doing more natural products.
So we have a wealth of knowledge here today from online brick and mortar. That's why I wanted to bring in Ms. Jackson here, because she's awesome with just all of her business knowledge here. She's based in California, but some of the knowledge has crossed through different states here. So I know we have people here in Connecticut and California and is in Missouri. So today we're going to be talking about businesses and nonprofit organizations and just some tips on how to get started, where to begin, and we'll have some questions and Q&A for those that are here. So we want to go ahead and first, Sherry, you want to go ahead and introduce your name, location, and your organization or business name. Sarah, can't hear you. Are you muted?
Oh, no, I'm not.
Oh.
My name is Sherry Lancaster in Belton, Missouri. I do not have a business. My nonprofit that I want to begin is called Sisters Healing Sisters, which is an organization that will build up off of helping women that are in need, single mothers, married women with abuse, with anything that's going on within in their world that they need assistance with, to be there, to be just an open place for them to come and get the things that they need in order to be able to focus and have a successful life.
Awesome. Firmer.
My name is Firmer Relaford, and I'm located here in Desert Hot Springs, California. And I've just established a business called Her Flourishing Concepts, and it's a creation of decor for home, outside florals, many different designs that are specially made by myself. Also, I want to start another business to do with blogging that's called Concepts Flourishing Her, which is would be like a book that I would like to do. It's like a 30-day whispers just to inspire women of color, just to help them in, I guess, to motivate them, just to help them along their ways, just to inspire them to not to give up, but to just flourish in their lives. So the concepts of her. So that's something I'm looking forward to do.
Awesome. And I'm D'Angelo, located in Missouri. Kansas City, Missouri. And so my nonprofit organization would be the Poor Network. This is just an organization that helps assist those in the ecumenical space that for academia, spiritual and enrichment, and much more. So that's mine. So Thank you guys for sharing that information there. I'm going to go ahead and go to our next slide here. So I want to talk just briefly here. We're going to cover just a little bit for nonprofits. The majority of our time is going to be dealing with businesses. But I just wanted to share for a nonprofit, some of the things that you want to know first is, what is your mission? What will you name your nonprofit? How much will it cost to make this nonprofit work? How can I fund this operation? Who can I hire to build a strong team? How will I raise awareness? And what organization can I partner with to expand my reach? And how will you stay compliant? And these are all questions that you want to ask yourself when establishing a nonprofit organization here. I will be sharing a link that will have all of your local state by state requirements for nonprofit organization at the end of this session here. So this information and this slide will be provided as well. So you'll receive an email with pretty much line by line, step by steps on what you need to do to establish your nonprofit organization. But here are a few questions that you just want to begin to wrestle with when you're thinking about starting a nonprofit. Okay. All right, so now we're going into business here. All right, and so this is just a first tip, and I'm just going to have Ms. Jackson go ahead and just expound on it. But one thing is to understand your customer service and operation. What costs of doing your business and returns on your investment? What is your break-even point? Usually, if your expenses are more than a third of total return, then what you decide to reconsider your profit loss strategy. Always collect potential customers and customer sales data as often as possible. The information gathered will eventually fuel your business intelligence and used to project sales, incomes, and market strategies. So in a nutshell, understand your customers, service, and operations. Understanding your audience. Ms. Jackson?
Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna say, when you get to this point where you're looking at your break-even point and what's going to be cost effective for you, one of the main things you need to do is value yourself. And I say that because a lot of times we want to make a product or do something and we make it too inexpensive because we're trying to reach like a certain class of people. And what you do is you end up hurting yourself. And I've learned this the hard way. A quick story. I had the beauty supply store. I had a product in there that everyone else was selling for about, the hair product would range from, depending on the length, about $200 to $500. I was selling my product only at double of what I spent for wholesale. So if I spent $20, I was selling at $40. My competitor was selling that same product for $120.
Wow.
And I thought, I'm being fair to the people in the neighborhood. I'm giving them a good price. But what it was doing was, even though I was above, because what you will learn is your profit sheet should be around 70%. But sometimes when you're dealing with certain products or what you're selling, those products need to be sold higher. There's nothing wrong with tripling your money. There's nothing wrong with quadrupling your money. And that's where I fell a little bit short at, I think was one of my main things. So it took me a while to learn. It's okay to charge because they've been paying it. And so I always, when I go into something, I always say value yourself first. And with that comes, and when he talks about the competitor, look at competitor prices. I know some of the words in here might feel a little like intimidating when you hear what you need to do. For example, go on a site that's really huge with selling, for me, natural products. I usually do around the top 5 to 10 competitors. I look at their pricing. I've even ordered their stuff to see if mine is better than theirs. And if it's better, I charge more money. But you have to find a point to start at. And I think it's really important that if you go with your competitors and see what they're charging, see what you could look up their revenue. It's available online. So you can kind of see where you need to be. I carry a body butter. I sell it for $20 some. Another guy sells half the size and he sell his for $75. and he makes a lot of money. So, it
Mm.
depends on, so valuing yourself, valuing your product and where you think and he makes sales every day. He's like one of the top vendors on Amazon for body butter. So, and I'm sitting at a $20 price thinking, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And I look at his ingredients and they're nothing like mine. So it's about, I think that's the first part, and looking at your profit and loss is to stay safe. I would say value what you are, where you are, and what your product is, and how much you want to charge.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right,
It's-
next here, being a businesswoman of the world. If you announce an opening date of our operating hours, do your best to fulfill your verbal obligation. If you give one price to your customers, do your best to honor your word. If you say the product is this, or that you make sure that you have determined that it is so. If you make a mistake or need to retract your word, try to do so in a professional manner without blaming others for your responsibilities. So I
Okay.
mean, yes, ma'am.
So for this one, I really didn't run into this problem too much, because when you're pricing, I did keep my price where it was, but I knew when I bring in my next product that was a higher level of that product, I knew that I need to charge more money. But I'm really big on, if I start out from the beginning, for example, Firmer was talking about writing a book. I want to say Firmer. I do not call her Firmer. She was talking about writing a book, but you include every expense that you could think of in there. How much time it spend you to write it? How much time is, because you want to get that price from the beginning. So your shipping costs, how much the paper costs that you are writing on, your book cover, how much is that going to, if it's digital, how much is that digital cover going to cost? You want to make sure you put all those prices into what you're doing. And if it benefits you, because sometimes you need to sell at a bigger volume. You need to, it depends on how you're going to sell it. If it's a paper copy, the more you print, the cheaper it is. If it's going to be digital, then the more that you sell is, so it depends on which way you're going. But I would definitely try to pick a price that at least 70%, so you're not putting yourself in a position where you need to retract.
Mm. She putting out some nuggets. You hear me? Nugget.
Yes, I'm just saying, I'm loving it.
I'm like, hey, add your salary to the budget, save for the future, and plan beyond month to month. Pay your taxes and expenses as you go. I'm gonna say that again. Pay your taxes and your expenses as you go.
All right.
All money made is not for your profit. You can't determine your profit before you pay all your bills, which must include your savings and salaries, just as Ms. Jackson talking about.
So with this one, I wish somebody would have told me this from the beginning, because that's when you're dealing in business. Say I want to go to the bank and get a loan. The first thing some of the things they're going to ask you, they want to see your profit and loss. They're looking to see how much you pay yourself. People don't think about that a lot. How much are you paying yourself? They're trying to see if you are budgeting what you are doing at the cost that you should be budgeting at. So for example, if I do, I used to do hair. So if I'm braiding hair, I do, what's one of the hairstyles? I do a job doing micro braids, because that was one of my specialties. And I do a job doing micro braids. That job alone should start around $300, because you're spending, you got to think about it, $300. And let's just give an easy figure just so we can figure this out. And it takes me 30 hours to do the micro braids. I just value myself at $10 an hour.
Yes.
And we're not thinking like that. We're not thinking, whoa, wait, this doesn't add up right. You think about it after your feet is hurting and you finish with the job, and you're like, that's all I made was $300, but we're not budgeting correctly. And then putting in the time in for, remember, you usually are standing, or, and this is just on a hair job. So this could be with anything that you're doing, making sure that you pay yourself is key. You have to pay yourself, because if you don't pay yourself, what's going to happen is you're going to get discouraged, and you're going to be like, I'm doing
Mhm.
this and I'm still at zero. And then the second part of that is something else that I learned, and I'm being transparent right now. When I had the stores, I did, at one point, the stores got real slow. I think Canada was in a recession. And so for the clothing store, that was my biggest customers were Canadians. They would come in and buy the cases. I didn't even pull the stuff out. So I was used to selling in bulk. And so what happened was when they stopped coming in, paying those taxes. So when you do your taxes, what happens is um, for us, our tax place will tell you, take the taxes out as you go, put it in a
As you
separate
go.
account.
Yes, ma'am.
And I didn't do that. I did it at first, but when times started getting hard, I started dipping in those taxes and dipping in those taxes. And then the next thing you know, you have a big bill on you. So for example, I didn't do the taxes on time. My taxes that I think it was at that time, my taxes was around $1,200. They charged me $3,000 on top of the $1,200 to pay back, just for not paying on time. Just for not paying on time. And mind you, at this time, I didn't know, like, if I'm at a zero and I don't have sales, I could put zero. I thought I had to put something down. So what they did was they went back to my previous what do you call them, claims, and they said, oh, well, this is what you usually pay, so we're going to charge you this much. And that's what they
Right.
charged me. So I had to pay all that money back. And that's one of the biggest things, is being strict with your finances, because then you really see where your profit and loss is. If I'm not taking out my taxes, then I'm not truly seeing where I'm at. And you thinking you got money over here, and you spend it. And then at the end, you end up in a situation like I was in.
Okay.
And I just, my little experience, because working for a tax accounting firm, that was the biggest thing that we had customers coming there dealing with, was their taxes, local and city. And so you got to know your local and your city taxes. And for that, they have apps for it. So I will share that. I'll be another tool or resource I can share with you as well. Making sure that you are applying your sales taxes on your digital products as well. People
Yes.
forget to do that as well. So please do that. All right, there are many funding sources to support organizations for both startup and current businesses. They often require business plans, financial making, and tax statements. These records are in many ways like money in the banks, so treat them as such. You can also host several fundraisers and business campaigns to drive additional income.
Okay, so for this one, I'm gonna give you guys this. I don't know if you heard of the Coachella. If you're out here in California, especially in the Coachella Valley, there's a place called Coachella Valley Women's Business Center. And they are a nonprofit center, but they work a lot with SBA. So,
And SBA, for those that don't know.
oh, sorry, Business Administration. Sorry about that.
Oh no, you're fine. Well, you know you have
And so they work a lot with them. So what they do is they offer a price match. I don't know what their funding exactly is right now, but one of the things they do, you go to classes, they teach you how to do a business plan, which everyone should have. They teach you how to do a business plan. They make you go over market research. They basically take you to this little small class, and that's where I first started at. And then you put away so much money and they match the money. So right there, that's a way for you to get extra funding for your business. They have them all over in different states. They might be called different things, but I check out like your local areas and see if they have something like that Business Women's Center. There's usually some type of women's center around. Sorry about that. There's usually some type of business center around that you could check out. So I would definitely look into one of those. That same place also does for homes, just kind of off subject, but they even price match for homes, businesses, and there's one more, I forgot what it was. But they have quite a bit that they do for you. And then they give you loans through SBA. They help you get them. And I'm sure D'Angelo has it in the thing, but when you're dealing with trying to get money, I don't know if you guys remember like the EIDL loans and all those.
Right.
Your credit is important. And that's another thing I learned, because for me, I did everything myself. Okay, I turned off one phone, the other one came on. Um, I did everything myself. Give me a second. Can you put that on airplane for me? So I didn't really use anybody for my services. When I did use the Women's Center, they actually ran out of money right when we finished the program. So I didn't even get the help. I ended up just funding myself. But fundraisers are, I think that fundraisers are the best thing. I will also tell you that using like, sometimes friends are good to use. Sometimes they're not. Did y'all see my eyes?
Yes.
Sometimes they're not, because
Right. You
it
trust some
can take a
friends.
toll on, you know, your relationship. But you can have somebody come in and help you, um, as far as friends go. But I would try my best to keep it professional and use other means like he has listed, and try not to deal with family and friends if you don't have to.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. The best time to start a business is when you're working, and the best time to grow the business is when you have achieved some business success. Always look for opportunities to make the passive and residual income while you're doing business. It is also a great idea to have some nonprofit or heartfelt cause that you are passionate about to support and grow with. The relationship with, while incentivize your relationship, life goals, and associations while helping others. Believe that you can be extremely successful in your business. Don't think because you are an African American woman, people won't do business with you. Go into each business situation and relationship with the mindset that most people are all in some way generally good. If you find that they are otherwise, make note of the experience. Sometimes the reason is not always what we may perceive. Find joy and inspiration as you move forward to find your next customer, and take good care of your customers you already have. The sky does not have to be your limit.
Amen.
Oh, yes. Amen on that one. That one was good.
So, so
I
I
like
want
that.
to give some digital marketing tips real quick for small businesses. One thing is speak to your customers. That's one thing. I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but communicate with your customers. If you have a way, if you're getting messages via email, via Facebook, via Instagram, communicate with your customers. Also, like Ms. Jackson said, research your competitors research your competitors in different yourself. So differentiate yourself. I'm sorry. So like she said, look at your competitors, know who you are competing against, get your website. If you ain't got a website, you need a website. That you can't have a digital footprint without having an effective website. Improve Google My Business listings and customer reviews. Make sure you have your Google business online, and establish reviews. Incentivize your customers for giving a review. Maybe give them 10% off giving you a review, or 5% off. But give them some incentive for giving you a review, because once somebody see a good review, they're going to continue with your business. So make sure you're asking your customers to give you a Google review. Create interesting blog content. Connect the blog to your website. Whatever your brand is, there's someone out there who wants to learn about your brand, will learn about that niche, that market. So create a blog that connects and brings traffic to your page. Also create professional visual content. Get creative with your marketing. Get with some digital marketing teams or people, and get some creative flyers, get some digital flyers, get some digital flyers for Instagram, for Facebook. Get creative with your content. And then improve your local SEO. And the SEO is basically just how you're searched on the internet. There's certain criteria that has to be placed on the internet. And when you place your information correctly on the internet, people can search for you through Google, through Bing, and that's through the SEO. So partnering with someone who understands digital SEOs and how to properly do those on your websites will help you be found on the internet. Also develop email marketing. It's old school, but it always works. Have people when people go to your website, ask them for their email address. Save those email addresses so that if something ever happens, you have a list of your customers still who you can reach out to and do an email blast for a sale or for something. And then focus on a primary social media channel. focus, if it's just Facebook, focus on Facebook. If it's Instagram, just focus on Instagram first and then build your social media platforms from there. But you being everywhere all at once, you aren't able to solidify a solid audience in one place there. You want to find your audience in one home and then build from there. And then like Ms. Jackson said, partner with local influencers, partner with people around you who may have some influence. All right. And so that's that there. I have one more thing I wanted to put up here. If you guys could just go to this site really quick here on your end. Can you still see my screen?
Mhm.
Do you see where it says w.minty.com?
Uh-huh.
Go to that website for me and put in that code.
w.minty.com.
Mm-hmm. MENTI.
Oh, shoot. You guys
There
are,
we go.
our computer's acting up. Ah. Oh,
You can go on your phone or on your computer, either
yeah, I'm
one.
going on my phone.
And it's
It's not.
MENTI.com.
Oh, shoot, farmers, really?
And just put in that code.
Okay.
All right, and it says 3 words that describes your business or organization. Enter 3 words that describe your business or organization.
We wait on you to change the thing. Right?
No, people are adding this, as that people are adding the words are going on the screen there, so you'll see different people's. These are everyone's. So we got natural, skin, strength, encourage, enrichment, powerful, empowering, mental, beauty. Awesome, masterpiece, unique. Right. And so, original, awesome. And so, and this is just a word bubble here where we can see just all of our, how all of our businesses kind of, our organizations kind of somewhat are similar, are some, and now also how some of them are different. But just to see what we have here in the house today here, and just also to give you some ideas of how to describe your business and what that looks like, and shortly, you know, in just a couple of words. All right, and then I got one. Let's see. Okay, so I've got a question here. All right, ask yourself, am I fulfilling my dream and desires? If not, why not? And how can I align my business plan?
Mhm.
Are you supposed to put it in
Oh,
there?
I didn't do it.
It's fine.
I didn't finish really. I'm just,
I didn't know you. And I'm just sitting here looking.
But y'all can say it though. How can we we can verbally share it.
I didn't know. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Because it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a loaded
it
question.
is a lot, and my mind just went somewhere.
It's a loaded question. But ask yourself, am I fulfilling my dreams and desires? And if not, why or why not? And how can I align my business plans with my visions?
It's really I have to be confident with who I am. Really have to be confident. That's what I'm really working on, my confidence. Denitra says something really good, is me valuing myself, my worth. That's really what it's all about.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else?
I'm working on my dreams.
Are you muted? You
They're not
muted. I
fulfilled
think you
now
muted.
yet. I ain't muted.
No,
My
Denitra's muted.
computer probably. Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, no, I can hear you. We can't hear Denitra.
Oh,
She was saying something.
oh, let her go ahead. Tell her I'm mute.
No, I was just gonna say, I know for me, I have a lot of stuff that I'm doing at one time, so I have to try to stay focused
Okay.
on the task. And sometimes it's hard because I'm used to doing everything by myself. So it's hard to allow other people to help. And I find if anything is standing in my way, sometimes it's me. It's not someone else. But I know where I should be with my businesses. I'm just not there because I try to do it I think I'm superwoman.
You sabotage
Real good.
Yeah.
Real good.
and that's what that's everything right there. Fulfilling your dreams. I can say it, sabotaging myself in the way I think, the way I the don't know how I'm gonna get there. I don't have a business plan, or anything, no plan written down to say, okay, fine, I can make it this way. Instead, you get something, you want to do it, you know how to go about doing it, but because of self, the negative things, not valuing your worth or everything, you sabotage yourself. I can say,
Real.
I get that very much so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is gonna help us.
It is.
Yes.
So build us up. Yeah. We can see what you're doing by you teaching, you're teaching this class, and we see what you're doing, and you're a young girl, young baby.
Yes.
And we older ones just now, and as I said it, I said it earlier the other day, and how we think we should be a certain place, but we're not in a certain place, as being older. But
Right.
we have to understand that we're learning to not sabotage ourselves so much as we get older, so that we see that our dreams are still accomplishable. We can still accomplish them. We can still do them, but we understand. And I say our greater is later, we're you know what I mean? And that goes for you as well,
Yes.
because you wanted to be a certain place at a certain age and have this and have that done, but it didn't. But now you're in your later age, and and greater is there. You're able to come on here and speak to us, to teach us about what to do, how to continue on, how to open up your mind and start thinking. And I think that's awesome. And
It is beautiful.
yeah,
Thank
and
you.
just to know that, in my later days, it's been my greatest time. Really.
Amen.
So we got it. Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for just sharing and pouring into us. For real. I gotta give you ear horns, for real.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And if I could if I could tell you one thing, back piggybacking on what Aunt Sherry said, my mom is 72, and I think it was at 70 she started living what she always wanted to live and start actually sewing and decorating and doing her, like, she does so much stuff now, reupholstering, and she's doing all this stuff, and it didn't happen until she was in her 70s. And she'd tell me sometimes, man, I wish I would have did this earlier. But sometimes it's, it's life and it's what happens. And she just got up one day and said, I want to do this, and start doing what she wanted. And she's now making her own, well, I shouldn't say too much, but she's doing her thing. That's what I'm
Right.
saying.
You
Can't
She
already
spill,
doing her,
can't spill all her tea, okay?
she's doing her thing. But no, she's helping a lot.
That's awesome. And
Yeah.
that's, I mean, and we can never give up as women on what our dreams are. You know, I got big dreams. And I know they're gonna come. But I gotta
Yes.
stop. But I have to stop letting the little words in my head sabotage me for saying, okay, fine, shut up. You know, don't shut up. Don't say it, shut up. You know.
Right. No, and that was a prayer this morning that not to have to bind self-sabotaging thoughts
Mhm.
and self-deprecating speech. We sometimes can speak negative to ourselves, so just making sure that we keep that positive, affirming spirit internally, mentally, and it's not just for when you hear people speak to you, but how do you speak to yourself? How do you encourage yourself? Do you belittle yourself in your head? Are you so dumb for doing that? Are you so stupid for doing it? So how do you speak to you? How do you handle you?
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.